bought this thing last Halloween, and gotta be honest, it's kind of tight. Hey guys, welcome to my first ever video game review. As some of you might know, I am a very casual gamer. I am not in any way a hardcore video game player, but I enjoy them. I enjoy playing, sitting down playing games. I'm going through a storyline and be basically watching a interactive movies, but I have not spent enough time playing games to really consider myself, a quote-unquote gamer. But halfway through this game, I knew that I have to review this game. I have to, as a video game player, as a Spider-Man fan, I have to review this game. Now do keep in mind that I haven't played, the really emotional games that people talk about, like, let's say Last of Us or whatever the case. So this is only my personal experience, but Spider-Man on the PS4 is the first time that I cried playing a video game. I love the fact that Peter Parker in this game is in his mid-20s. He's finished college, he got a job, he's been Spider-Man for a few years now, and he's really good at it. He knows what he's doing. Definitely a much more mature Peter Parker, and also Spider-Man that we've got in a long time. But the things that you love about Spider-Man in those comics, in those animated shows, in those movies, they're still there. Like the quips that he does when he fight crimes, struggling to pay rent. And especially, and I am so happy that the game creators, they got this thing down to a T. This is the most important elements of any Spider-Man. If you're writing Spider-Man, if you're writing a movie or comics or TV show about Spider-Man, you have to get these things right. And I'm so happy that they got it right. And that is the duality of the character, how to balance being Spider-Man and being Peter Parker. Throughout the storyline, Spider-Man is put through scenarios where making a decision seems impossible, and he has to make it like that on the dot. And they got it down so right. Even after you defeated the final boss, which I won't spoil, because I don't think they review that in the trailer. But even when you defeated the final boss, and you, as a gamers, you think, okay, that's it. That they're gonna go back to their life being happy and all that. No, even after that, Peter Parker still has to make what is possibly the toughest, most difficult choice he has ever made. Ever. Like, this is the most difficult thing that I have seen Spider-Man done in any medium, not just comic book movies, just anywhere. So what you saw in the trailer of, Spider-Man fighting Mr. Negative, that's only half of the story. The other half is the real story. Like, that's the meat of the story. And, again, I'm not gonna spoil it. Some of you might have already known it, but just in case you haven't played the game, I'm not gonna spoil what it is. But it's that other half that really got me emotionally. This half, the Mr. Negative plot is not bad. I like Mr. Negative. I think he looks cool. He's a great character with good motivation, a great villain. But I was much more invested in the other storyline. Not that this one is bad, it's just I like this one better. This game also gives me what is possibly my absolute favorite version of Spider-Man. And many other characters. My favorite version of MJ, my favorite version of Miles Morales, and who else that I really like in this game? Aunt May is awesome in this game. You're not going to play as Aunt May, of course, but when she's in the cutscene, she is really cool. J. Jonah Jameson's not my favorite, J. Jonah Jameson, but he is hilarious. He's got this podcast that every time you're swinging, through Manhattan, you just hear him in the background, just talking shit about you nonstop. And speaking of MJ and Miles Morales, they are at times playable characters. There are missions where Mary Jane would go to a really dangerous crime scene to take pictures and do investigation for the Daily Bugle, where she works at now. And those missions are actually really got me on the edge of my seat and really intense, really suspenseful. But after a while, it kind of got like I don't want to sound mean. I mean, I like her character in this game a lot, and I enjoy the mission where you play as Mary Jane. But after a while, it got kind of old. And she continued. This girl, I'm telling you, she's like Lois Lane in this game. She continued to put herself in dangers. Like Peter in the background was like, "Hey, Mary Jane, don't do this," but she's like, "I gotta do it." You know, she went in there and got herself in trouble. At first I was like, you're just being annoying now. Like I don't like this. But then I thought about it, right? I slept on the idea of playing as Mary Jane and what it contributed to the game, and I realized that this is a Spider-Man game. You know, everything that you do, everything that they throw at you is supposed to make you feel like Spider-Man, and I definitely felt like Spider-Man playing this game. So when you play as Mary Jane, you're not really in the mindset of Mary Jane, if that makes any sense. You are still Spider-Man. And the fact that I felt frustrated, the fact that I felt like, this girl is just being stupid, she's not listening to me, that's kind of a good thing, because Spider-Man definitely felt the same way. So in many ways, making the gamers angry and frustrated is kind of a good thing, which is weird. Like maybe I'm just stretching this, but the more I think about it, the more I like it. The idea of me being frustrated at Mary Jane, and the same thing with Miles Morales. He's a kid. He's a kid in this game. He's like 14, 15, and he continued to put himself in dangers. And I was like, dude, don't do this. Just turn back and go home. But no, there was this one mission where he has to hide from the Rhino, and if the Rhino finds out that you're there, he's gonna stomp you to death. You being Spider-Man, you're worried. You're angry at this kid, and you're like, dude, why did you do it? So in a weird way, being frustrated is, is a good thing. Playing this game, which is a really weird thing to say about a video game as a positive. But yeah, it's just an observation. The graphics and the visuals of this game are at times kind of scary to look at because they look so real. There are some scenes where it's like you're watching a Pixar movie where it's almost photorealistic. It's crazy the amount of details and just the attention to details that they put in. Like the work that these artists put into creating these games are just outstanding. Like I'm looking at this, frames right here. Like I have to constantly remind myself that someone, made it. Like like with computers and with programs. I mean, like the technologies is very advanced now. I know that, but still to create that is nothing short of amazing. Like I'm serious. Playing this game feels more like watching an interactive Pixar Disney movies. Big shout out to all the people who worked on the animation of this game. You blew it out of the park. You nailed it. And also big shout out to all the actors, the voice actors. You guys did such an amazing job. All of you. This is some of the best voice acting I've ever seen ever. Like, to be honest, like you could definitely compare this to like animation movies and all those high class voice acting form of media that people tend to think of, like Toy Story and all those movies, right? This is right up there. I'm telling you, like the voice acting in this game is so amazing, so amazingly good, so incredibly well done. Just the emotion and the effort that these people put into, like me being an actor, I'm not like when I think of acting, I think of facial expression, like Stanislavski's sort of approach to acting, but like voice acting is not easy. Like you have to convey emotion using only your voice, and you have to trust those again the visual artists to do, the facial expression and all that. But you as an actor in a booth by yourself, or sometime with other actors, but still just your voice, just the voice, and you have to convey emotions. You have to tell stories. That is very challenging. From an actor, I'm telling you, it's not easy. And the gameplay mechanics, a lot of people compare it to the Arkham games. I can definitely see why, and some people can kind of have a problem with it for some reason. I mean, like, I've never played the Arkham games, right? So this is kind of new to me. But even if I have played the Arkham games, it's not really a problem. I mean, like, think back of the 80s. Like, how many games that basically have the same sort of gameplays, the same mechanics, and nobody complained. Games have, they copy each other. They learn from one another how to improve, from past mistake, and how to be the best self. And this right here, is the perfect example of, not really copying what other people has done before. Like, I mean, how else could you make a Spider-Man game? An open world Spider-Man game. This might be the only way to do it. There's nothing wrong with imitating something that has worked before. The Arkham game worked brilliantly with the character of Batman, and I would argue that it made more sense to have this type of gameplay for a character like Spider-Man, because, like, Batman, as good as he is, he's a human. Dodging a punch from behind you is not easy, but with Spider-Man, he has the spider sense. So, like dodging bullet and all that, it seems like a more, realistic, not realistic, a more reasonable, though these are not good words, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, it make more sense when it's Spider-Man than with Batman. That's all I'm saying. Another thing that I really love is that they give you a lot of side mission. Like, you have a main sort of goals, a main objective, but then around you is, countless of options. You could go catch pigeons, you could stop crimes, just like the small petty crimes, like, some people break into a house, or like car theft. Research facility that you could do. There's some challenge. There's this one challenge where you have to, like, cure some type of fish disease. You have to go to the harbor and, like, spray something into the water so the fish doesn't get sick. That is so hilarious. It's so brilliant. There are so many side missions that you could spend so much time on. You don't have to, but it definitely, well, you kind of have to, because then you get tokens and you get all those rewards that you could use to buy suit and to upgrade. Without those, it's gonna get really challenging, especially when you get to the end. So to those who have never played the Spider-Man game, if you do, one day decide to play this game, don't spend a whole lot of time on the side mission. Like, do some of them, but you don't have to do all of them right away. You could definitely wait. Finish the main storyline, and then you could go back to those side missions, which is something that I really appreciate about this game. Like, when you're done with the main storyline, they still let you, finish everything else that is going on in the city. If I really had to think of a complaint or a negative about this game, I mean, I encountered like a couple of glitches, like here and there, just like the really common video game glitches. Like, I was fighting this guy and he got stuck inside like a balcony. Like, he was like, in the middle of the balcony, like his arm and his legs was like all over the place. So like I mean, like, as soon as you go away from that area, like, who cares? Like, nobody's gonna remember that guy, right? So that doesn't really take anything away from the game. Sometimes, like, when you're fighting, like, if you fight like a really big group of people and you're like in a really tight corner, it's hard to get out, because when you jump, like, someone is like already on top of you. So like when you jump, it just go like like that, like just a little bit. So you can't get out of the tight corner, and it gets kind of chaotic when that happens. Like, the camera doesn't know where to move, and sometimes you can't even see yourself. You just see like a really big zoom in. So fighting a big group of people in a tight corner is not ideal. Doesn't really happen a lot. And the jumping, I mean, like swinging around Manhattan is super fun. And I honestly I could do that all day without completing any missions, right? I could just swing around the city. Sometimes he jumped way too far, like you're just a couple of feet away from, where you're supposed to be. And then you press X, which is jumped, and he just launched like, super far, and then you have to like turn around and do all that. I feel like it's just a matter of, practicing. Like if I get better at it, at controlling where I want to land, when to swing and when not to swing, when to jump, when not to jump, I'll get better at it, And the same thing goes with the fighting. I mean, I just need to get better at fighting those, big groups of people in a tight corner. But like, those are minor nitpicks. Today Marvel's they has their movies and some of the recent TV shows to boast about. But in terms of video games, they've been playing catch up to DC for a long time, and they needed an answer. And boy, oh boy, did they answer with this game. PS4 Spider-Man is one of the best, if not the best, video game experience I have had probably ever. And for that reason, I'm going to give Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. Great storyline, great performances, great visual, and great game mechanics. Just everything that you want from a game. And I am so down for a sequel. Oh my god. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that the camera overheated. I've been talking for like half an hour now, so I really don't blame my camera. This game is just so good. That should tell you how good this game is. So you definitely should buy it. And if you're gonna do a review, don't let your camera overheat like mine did. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you want to see more video game reviews in the future. I mean, like, I don't play a lot of games, but if this is something that you guys enjoy and if you want to see more of them, do let me know and I'll try my best to do them. If you guys a chance to play this game, let me know in the comment section as well how you feel about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And what's your favorite moment of this video game? And with that being said, see you soon.